Welcome back, everybody. It's Jen from the Bachelor to the Burbs. Thanks for joining me again. And I'm here also with Brian Howie again, who continues to get me through all this. So thanks, Brian. How are you?
Good. How are you? I have a question for you.
Oh, you do? Yes.
Yeah. So Caitlin Bristow
yes,
and Artem won Dancing with the Stars.
They sure did. I'm very excited for her.
That makes 2 consecutive Bachelorette champions.
Yes, champions.
Could we make it 3? Does that make you want to do it more?
Ask me. They have to ask me. I don't think this is happening.
Say they asked you. How good would you be?
I could win. I don't know.
Are you
have to kind of like you too? So I don't know. We would have to see, but I would enjoy it.
How big a part of it do you think it is that that sort of Bachelor Nation turns out for them? I mean, I saw them. She danced really well, and I know Artem is a very nice guy, and he danced very well. But there is a little bit of, it's a popularity contest at its core.
Right.
Do you think that what may or may not hold you back would be your your standing with Bachelor Nation or the dancing ability?
God, that's hard. I don't know. I mean, my dancing ability is probably not what it used to be, but I don't know about Bachelor Nation. I haven't been part of it or in a while. So are they still loyal? Would they be loyal to me?
But
that's the question.
You're inching your way back into the Bachelor fold after you missed a couple of things. Is that fair to say? That's
fair to say. So, I mean, that would be amazing and fun if it came up, but yeah, so we will see, Brian. Are we on like a quest to get me on the show, maybe?
Yes, absolutely. That's the thing, because I saw they have 2 in a row, 4 or 5 others have lost, so they're not going to ask them to come back.
There's Tasia, then there's a new Bachelor. I just feel like they're going to go with the more current people.
But have you been thinking about it? Have you been working on the moves in front of the mirror?
No. I mean, I'm always working on moves. but not specifically for Dancing with the Stars.
But back in the day, or maybe even yesterday, you had dumb moves.
I had the moves. I sure did. I feel like I was a dancer when I was younger. I mean, I don't know what the moves are now. I don't know if they'd be as good. Maybe I'm not as flexible, but we could get there again. I would be excited to see. I mean, they all get in such great shape.
So if I know people who have done it, who I've talked to who have done it, not only almost all say it's the greatest experience of their lives, they do say that it's a life-changing transformation of their body, and they really do get something out of it. So
yes, I mean that would be if I lasted long enough. If you get cut on the first week, you're not going to get as
you're not going to get cut on the first week.
You're not going to get cut in the first month. Cut body wise. Oh, you mean cut? What if I did?
No, cut. Well, you might. I think it's a month of warm up now. I think the Dancing with the Stars taping schedule is longer than Bachelorette.
Right.
I think it is. I think
probably depending how long you last too, though. So, I'm sure you're still involved in ways throughout the show, even if you get cast away or voted off immediately. Because that could happen too, Brian, and that would be embarrassing.
I know you wouldn't want to be out first, and then they keep you around. People who get I don't know. I think Adam Carolla got voted out first. It's always somebody gets voted out first, and usually that person is the worst dancer. Usually that is.
You hope that's why.
Yeah, that isn't the least popular. But when it gets farther down the road, I always wondered if they could or would ever turn The Bachelor into a popularity contest where America picks, and would they have a better read on who would be the right fit than
That's so interesting. Would somebody have chosen better for me than I could have for myself?
Well, I wonder that would be an interesting show if it was just America chooses.
Like American Idol, but Bachelor.
Yeah. How many people would say, I have the worst picker I don't trust my taste. Have at it, America.
I like that.
Yeah.
You should get that going.
There you go.
There you go.
I have a question for you about Bachelor stuff, because you brought it up and I had that question all along. So if in a typical proposal, I ask somebody to marry me, they say yes. 2 weeks before the wedding, they bail out. They give the ring back, generally speaking. How does that work in Bachelor world?
Well, sometimes they give the ring back. Sometimes they don't. My husband was engaged before and he didn't get his ring back.
Did she break it off?
I think they both kind of did. Well, I guess you're right. So whoever breaks it off, then.
It's a little bit different in the real world, though, because he probably paid for the ring.
Right.
And the sponsor, it's a sponsored ring, right? Generally?
Yes. It was Harry Winston at the time.
Okay. And so Harry Winston gets full promotional value out of it. They don't care about that ring anymore. They made a trade with ABC. So ABC, Are they looking for the ring back? Do they reuse it? What's the process?
Okay, so now I think they've got like a stipulation, like it's in the contract. Like if you don't get it, or if you don't get married within 2 years, then you have to give the ring back.
2 years?
But when I was on the show, now it is. Yeah, I think it's like within 2 years, if you don't get married and you break up, the ring goes back to the Bachelor. But if you are engaged for 2 years and then you break up, I think maybe the ring is yours, but I don't know if that's happened. I don't think someone's lasted for 2 years and then broken up.
And does somebody call and say, I heard you broke up. Where's that ring?
Where's that ring? Probably. Yes. Yes.
Is that a production assistant job, or is that a Mike Fleiss job?
Probably someone a little bit higher up. A regular producer of the show would call you and be like, okay, where's the ring and can you send it back?
Yeah. But in a typical couple, there's no legal obligation. It's
correct.
It's sort of finders keepers, but you're saying
exactly. It should be.
So you did get a ring.
So I got a ring from Andrew, and so I've never really actually publicly told the story, but so what happened was I got the ring. After we broke up, the ring was mine. And then I decided I was going to do the Bachelorette. And then the show itself was like, well, Andrew wants the ring back. And so we're going to have you, wrap it all up, put it in a package and send it off to him, to start my Bachelorette, as if to say see you. I don't need this ring. I'm done with you.
Wait, why does Andrew want it's not his ring.
Well, right, exactly. But so according to, the show, and the show itself was and I'm sure they had, I don't know if, I don't think Andrew was being a big jerk about it, but it's just that was the storyline that they were giving me. And I was I'm not going to give the ring back.
Are they filming this?
No, they're not. So they're asking me to do it so that they can film it.
Oh.
So they want me to, because I'm going on the Bachelorette, I'm done with Andrew, and we want you to show everybody that you're done with him, and we're going to have you looking at the ring, and you'll close the box, and, we'll put it in the bag and send it off via FedEx to him. And c'est la vie.
Oh, so they were going to get some mileage out of the ring. The ring still had
They
some
wanted to film it. They wanted to get mileage out of it, yes.
Okay, so that doesn't get filmed, and the ring is still where?
It's still mine. So I was just I'm not doing that. I feel like that ring is sort of my little safety net. So long story short, I never did it. They didn't push it too hard. And I ended up, when I turned 30, I sold it. And I used the money to put a down payment on a condo.
Oh, so that's a substantial ring.
Right? It was a decent, it was like a 3-carat Harry Winston oval diamond. Yeah, it wasn't.
Does it being a Bachelor ring increase its value, or the buyer doesn't know?
The buyer didn't know.
So did you walk into a pawn shop, or you did it on eBay? How does this work?
Well, luckily in Chicago, there's this whole place. There's a street called Wabash Street, and it's Jewelers Row. And so, you just find a jeweler there, and he appraised it and said what he would give me for it. And
Does it
We made
come
the
up?
deal.
Does it come up that it's the Bachelor ring?
No, I didn't ever say that because I also didn't want any publicity for it. I didn't want to.
I know,
I probably
but
could have maybe tried to sell it for more, but then that would mean like.
But like a house could have more value if something infamous happened in it, or it had
Correct.
some like the Brady Bunch house is worth more because it was the Brady Bunch house. I'm wondering if that has like if you just put it on eBay and said
Well,
it
that
was the
a thought
Bachelor
too,
ring.
like auction it off.
Yeah, just a flat out auction.
Right.
There's probably some psycho out there who wants Andrew Firestone's ring and might have paid more.
That's so true. So maybe I lost a ton of money, is what you're saying.
Or maybe you could have
made a really bad choice in a bad investment.
So
I mean, yeah, there is that choice, but I thought I wanted to do it like without anybody knowing. So if I put it on eBay, that would have caused a whole thing.
So you essentially turned a reality TV appearance into a condo.
A condo. But I see it as an investment into my future, right?
But still, I mean, that's because you don't get paid much to do these shows.
Right, no.
Right.
No, and then the thing was, once I didn't pick anybody on The Bachelorette, like the show wasn't calling me to do anything. And, if I were to get any sort of appearances and things like that, they were like, no, you can't do it. We don't really want you associated. Basically, they didn't want me associated with their brand.
Right. But you could look at it and say, listen, they have gotten 40 hours of primetime television out of me. I'm getting a condo.
I'm getting a condo. Yeah.
that seems very reasonable.
It sounded like I got a condo. That kind of seems like boring to say, but
yeah, you turn. But I know, but that seems like a fair trade because
I think it's a fair trade.
I don't think they're not going to reuse the ring, so I don't know who would get it. Like if it goes back to ABC, somebody's going to walk off with it.
Right, and then it's like I wanted to keep it for myself, and yeah, I mean, once everything ended with Andrew, I moved back to Chicago. I didn't have a job, so it was sort of my little security,
that's good.
like a little security blanket, a little.
Now, while you're taping The Bachelorette, is it the same team? Is it the same production team?
Some were the same, but a lot were different. So,
and nobody on there asked about the ring.
No, they did ask about
but
the
only
Bachelorette.
at the beginning they asked.
At the beginning, but then once we decided not to go that route, then it wasn't discussed again. They didn't bring it up to me.
So at the end, when you say you were what they wanted you, and you chose a guy.
Yes.
They give him a ring, or they give you a ring. How does that work?
They give him the ring to propose to me with. So, and I don't know what happens after that because I said no to both of them.
What happened?
So I don't know what happened. But so they both had rings that were both, I think it was Neil Lane by then. So Neil Lane I don't know if it was Neil Lane or I think it was Neil Lane. And they each had a different ring.
Mm-hmm.
But they both proposed to me with a ring. Different one, and I said no, so I didn't get to see either one of those.
Now, you could have chose them and say don't propose.
Well, that's what I did. I chose Jerry.
Right. You said, yes. And you said don't propose.
He proposed, and I said no. I said,
I need to get deeper into YouTube because I can't find this.
Yeah, I got the DVDs.
All right, walk me through this. So
okay. So first of all, it's the last, the final night, the final rose ceremony. And John Paul is the first one that comes in, who I'm definitely not choosing. And he is gets down, he shows me the ring. And I'm like, you're so great, but I'm not choosing you, which is the worst conversation in the world to have with somebody on the show. I mean, and then, it's I remember being them in that position, and it's nope, sorry, you're not the one.
Do the producers know that you're not picking?
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
they know ahead of time?
They know ahead of time because, yes, they knew I wasn't going to pick Jerry, but we planned out what I was going to say. So that I could I've already been through this one time. I've been engaged before because of the show, and I just want to take it one step at a time, and we don't need to actually be engaged yet.
We can cling to yet. I mean, that seems reasonable.
At that point, it was still a yet because, it was like, okay, this is so new. I mean, I don't know you. I don't want to go through the same thing I did with somebody before, like Andrew before, where it was like I was really into him and sure about like I wanted to date him. And I think this time around, I was like, oh, I don't really want to pick anyone, but let's go this route. Let's go this route. Let's see how this works out route.
Right.
With Jerry. That was with Jerry.
And as soon as that conversation ended, how long before the After the Rose shooting?
So it's about 2-3 months.
And is he calling you the whole time, or he knows it's over?
So we had like a rendezvous, the rendezvous, those are the words that they call us. So they say, I don't make up the words.
In the condo that you bought with the other
in my condo.
jewelry?
No, I hadn't bought the condo yet. I still had that ring on the side.
Okay, so you have a rendezvous.
Yeah, so we have a rendezvous. So then it's like, okay, we kind of like each other. Let's see how this goes. And then...
And where did he live?
L.A.
So he came to Chicago, or you went to L.A.?
They set it up for us. So they sent me out to L.A. Like they've got a house for us in Palm Springs.
Oh.
So he would stay, and then they get us, like they flew me out and they, have somebody pick me up at the airport and somebody was driving him. We can't meet each other at the airport or anything like that.
So they're not shooting this.
None of this is being shot. This is all for.
Are you texting and calling besides that time?
Well, texting really wasn't a thing yet, which is so crazy.
Yes, it was. It was barely a thing. But
barely a thing. I don't think I had text. I mean, right around then is when I started texting, probably. So you're right.
So you're right. Conversing with him?
Sometimes, yes, on and off. Like
because he was in love. He was in love with you, I think. Then, or he says he is.
No, I mean that's what his story was to it. I just don't believe it. I don't think he was. He was not. He was not into me. I'll tell you that much.
That makes it.
So it was like it was a sort of a weird thing going. Like, so we're kind of together, we're kind of not, and then we do another rendezvous, which is like a month later, a couple weeks later, after the show's done filming, before it started airing, though.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of like, it was fun. And then it was kind of after that, it was like, okay, I don't know what's going on. But he wasn't a very good communicator. So it was like, so finally, just like a couple weeks before, I know that After the Final Rose is coming up, like he and I have this talk. I'm like, we're probably better off as friends, right? And he's like, whatever you want. Okay, I agree. Whatever and then we don't really talk. And then it's After the Final Rose is a live show.
Right.
So they're filming it the day that the finale airs. So it will be live. It'll be airing live after the finale. They show the finale of me telling him that we're not getting engaged and we're just going to see how things go.
Okay.
So then on After the Final Rose, it's a live show. I haven't seen him. They don't let me talk to him like backstage or anything like that. So we get out. And they play this song that he supposedly wrote for me. She did not. And he's not singing it, or I don't know, his friend sang it or whatever. And then he gets down on one knee and proposes again. And I was like, wait, I thought we decided that we were just sort of better off as friends. Mm-hmm. And then Chris Harrison jumps in. So it was like, everybody sort of jumped in and I didn't get to say anything and I just looked like an idiot the whole time. And they made him look like he was really sad and that like I dumped him again, basically, which is not what happened, really.
Do you think ABC said propose again? Or
yeah, yeah. I'm sure that's what he was getting. I'm backstage all day being told what's going to happen and none of that happened. So I was like completely blindsided, but I'm sure he was told like propose again. She might say yes.
And well,
so like he's looking like an idiot too, because I'm sure he thought maybe I would say yes. Like he doesn't necessarily know. Like when he proposed to me, right. I think they told him that I was going to be really angry if he didn't propose because I don't even think he wanted to propose. Am I making sense, or am I talking?
Yeah, but what doesn't make sense is you could have had a second condo. Like you like take the ring. Like you.
I know, but that wouldn't have been mine anymore because we wouldn't have stayed together for 2 years. Because then it was already written in the contract that I wouldn't get to keep the ring.
Oh, so they changed the contract the second time around.
They changed it, yeah. Like every year, I'm sure they add more and more things into that contract that like come up in the years past that like kind of bit them in the butt a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see a court battle over that. Okay, so was Andrew your first proposal in your life?
Yes. Okay. Andrew was my first proposal. Yes.
Have you had 4 total proposals then in your life, or was there anyone between him and your husband?
No, just 4.
Just 4. 3 men, 4 proposals.
Yes.
That's pretty good. And so you have
4 men, 4 proposals.
Oh, 4 men, 4 no. Oh,
well, Andrew proposed.
Yeah.
John Paul proposed. He was the runner-up. Jerry.
We count John
and
Paul.
And then my actual husband.
And what was that? And we count John Paul, huh?
Yeah. Well, he did propose, so there was a ring, and I said no.
Ring. You need to just started grabbing rings once you knew. And whatever. And
I'm going to say yes to John Paul, and I'm going to say yes to Jerry.
Yeah, and you're like,
and we're all going to just figure this
house. Out. Right. Okay. So when your husband proposes, can I ask a question about that?
Yes.
Were you surprised? Did you go ring shopping ahead of time? How much? How
did that work? Yes. So, we had only dated for like 7 or 8 months before we got engaged. So pretty shortly. Like maybe 5, 6 months.
In your world, that's like dating for 10 years.
I know. I mean, that was a really long relationship for me before getting engaged. So I was very happy about that. So we had talked about rings. I told him what I liked. And he was he can't keep a secret. It's like he gets me a Christmas present like November 30th. And he's like, do you want it? I can't wait. I can't wait to give it, So, I mean, he was very open and we talked about getting engaged, but I didn't ever know it was going to happen.
Well, how does that conversation happen? You're like, because you would be like, so if I asked you, what would you say? Like,
what would you say? And,
right. And
or it was just like, he was probably, I think he was 34. I was 31, 32-ish. It was kind of like one of those things where like, okay, well, we're not going to spend years. We're not going to date for like a year or 2 before we decide. Like either we like each other and we see it going somewhere, or we're done. Like we're not going to waste all this time together. So that was talked about, and he brought up a ring. I mean, but
and you go ring shopping, or you're just walking down Michigan Avenue and you're like, you know what? That's the kind of ring I like.
Let's just walk into So we did go ring shopping, and looking at rings, like showing him what I liked. All that stuff. But then he ended up actually having the ring made, but he knew what I liked. So yes, we had done the ring shopping.
Okay. And so you get proposed to.
Why are you thinking about it?
No, no, I'm asking because I want to know sort of how much ABC and the publicity stays on your line. This is 5 years after?
I would say yes. 4.
4 years after. You say yes. And the next day you're like, do I have to let People Magazine know? Right. Like, I mean, like people, like the world, does that enter your mind, or is it a conversation with him, or you're like, this is going to be newsworthy? And he's like, what?
Yeah. I mean, it's like, it is a conversation because you're like, okay, they're probably going to like say something about if you post it on Facebook or something, somebody will see it. So you don't really always have to like, I'm going to alert my Us Weekly contact.
Right. I mean, but you guys had quote unquote a normal relationship. It hadn't come up. Is this the first time that he is going to be dragged into the public, or was there a story of who you were dating that came up?
No, I mean, this is kind of the first of him being out there in the public for sure. So I think it was fun. I think it was like his friends started texting because like you're watching E! News or something, and it's like scrolling at the bottom, like Jen Chef just gets engaged to Joe Waterman, and it's like, wait, did I just see your name? Like what? So yeah, it was fun for him. I mean,
right. And then so he had to be cool with it. Like it had to be a conversation.
Yes. I mean, immediately when we started dating, though, Andrew Firestone got engaged. And so then it's like he's on the cover of Us Weekly talking about his engagement story. And then there's a picture of me in the corner with him. So it's like, I think Joe and I just started dating, and I was like, oh, well, I'm also kind of on the cover of a magazine this week next to my ex-fiance. So yeah, he got thrown into it pretty quickly. So he knew.
Yeah, he knew it was going to happen, and then
he knew what was going to happen.
And then when you get married, there's another, like, you got to let him know.
Yeah, so that one we actually gave some photos to Us Weekly. So that one for sure was like, okay, well, they asked for some photos and a little story. So, but we did not. They wanted to have a photographer there.
Yeah.
But I was like, no, we're going to have our own photographer, no cameras, nothing like that. And then our photographer will give you some pictures, not
because you
I
wanted
didn't need them to.
You wanted to control what they got.
Exactly. And I also just didn't want, like, I just wanted people, I wanted a regular wedding with Nora. I didn't want it to be like people can't bring their phones and there's exclusivity and all that, I mean, it was just,
so
I wanted it to be
you weren't a highest bidder person, despite having sold Bachelor jewelry for condos. You weren't, because
maybe I shouldn't have talked about.
Well, I know because we brought up Caitlin Bristow. She's open.
Yes.
Like, whoever gives me the $1 million for the wedding, I'll have the
That's
wedding.
who I'm going.
But,
yeah.
Ali Fetchowski, same way. I'm for sale, the whole thing. So Us Weekly, you were like, I will give you the photos that I want to give you.
Yes. I don't want you guys there. And like, okay, come, I just wanted to have like a fun time and not worry about whether or not like they were getting the right shot for their magazine. So, but it worked out.
But still every step, like you're pregnant with your first daughter. There's an article about that. Yeah. I mean, when I got pregnant with May, then we did something for Us Weekly where it was like, they came and photographed my nursery. Yeah. So, I mean, so every step of the way, there's been some, media around like our relationship and our kids and all of that. Yeah. Well, good.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of, my girls think it's fun, and it's always fun to see, to know that they're still interested and that people still care. So
yeah, people are always going to, as long as the show exists and the show is not going anywhere.
Which how long do you think it's going to go? I mean, this could go on for years more.
Well, I think it goes until they're relatively inexpensive to produce.
Correct.
They are relatively. You're not paying, 10 actors
$1 million salaries to.
Yeah. They don't quite have a rerun value. But they have figured out a way to sort of repackage the footage and grow the brand, and they even had a live tour going around before COVID killed it that Ben Higgins was hosting.
Yes, I remember that.
So there's ways to grow it. I don't know. I think as long as nothing terrible happens, I think that's
knock on wood.
Yeah, knock on wood. Until which did sort of happen in one of those offshoots, the Bachelor.
I think it was the Bachelor in Paradise. Yeah.
Like if anything was going to kill it, that kind of thing would have killed it,
right?
But it didn't. And they're dealing with the diversity issue, and they're dealing with that. I don't know. You probably have 10 more years of phone calls and reunions.
Yes.
Whatever the.
Oh my God, I'm going to be like 80 and still like showing up on the reunion shows. Remember her?
I just heard a podcast, and somebody was talking about, how long they wanted to keep Saturday Night Live going. And Lorne Michaels wanted to keep it around till it hits 50 years. And it's only 5 more years. And it's like, oh my God, Saturday Night Live's been on 50 years?
50 years.
Yeah. So there's a chance that 70 years of Bachelor.
So then what do you think about Dancing with the Stars? Do you think that'll be on 10 more years and maybe then I'll get my chance?
Well, I think it will. I think they went through a tough season with they brought in Tyra, and they had to do it without a crowd, and I think it worked. I think they have competition now from the Masked Dancer. The Masked Dancer is a thing.
Oh, that's right. Like the Masked Singer, but the Masked Dancer.
Masked Dancer. So
maybe
That's another thing for you.
Another option for me.
There's a lot of options for you. As we talked about on a prior podcast, all these game shows. There's a lot of stuff happening.
Who knows what we can do? Who knows what we can do with this podcast?
Yeah. So, do your kids want to be famous?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean,
does every kid want to be famous?
I think every kid wants to be famous, especially now. They don't understand why I won't give them a YouTube channel. Like they want to be on YouTube and have people watch them like on a weekly basis. And
so they understand what that. Do you have the conversation though? Are you like, well, what would happen on this YouTube channel?
No, because it's not happening.
So you don't even. It's not even a hypothetical.
It's like you are not going to be. I'm not going to like film you every week so you can have a YouTube channel. And they just like. I think they see. I mean. There are YouTube videos of kids getting all these free toys and then opening them for everyone to see and playing with slime. I mean, like I know why they want to be a YouTube star. I just don't think that that's not happening for us.
Do they understand, like what is it, sort of the audience level to be a star? Or do they think if I have a channel, I will be a star?
No, if I have a channel, I'll be a star. Like they have a channel. If you're on TV, you're a star and you're famous and you have a lot of money.
And there's no way there's no way that you can let them just sort of shoot it in their bedrooms and then just privately upload it to
they do that sometimes.
Oh,
but like they want me to put it can you put this on your Facebook page? Like, nope. I'm not gonna put your 15-minute video of you playing with your like dolls on my Facebook page for you to have a YouTube channel. No.
Your oldest is 10?
Yes.
How old are they when they're allowed to take an Uber by themselves?
Oh gosh.
Or the Uber drivers like, do not stick your kids in my car?
I don't know. I don't know about that here in Hudson, Ohio.
Yeah.
Maybe in the city there's probably some rules, but I mean that would be a long time.
Does she have her own phone?
She has my old phone.
Okay.
So she can't. It's like she can't take it on the bus. She can't make calls or texts, but she can get like some games and some internet. They share the phone.
Do 10-year-olds have TikTok?
They want TikTok, but I haven't given them TikTok. They want TikTok. They do some Snapchat, but more for the pictures for themselves. Like I do not let them like chat with like Snapchat their friends or anything.
And Instagram, Facebook, that they don't have that, right?
No, they're not there yet. No, thankfully.
But are there friends there? And you have to be like, I can't believe her mother lets her do that. Like, what? Well, is it like?
I know that there are some kids that actually have their own phone that they can call and text other people with. So I'm not there. I feel like they're still too young for that, but. Yeah, they're not. Yeah, it'll be a while before they're texting and doing all that stuff. Did I answer your question?
Do you explain to them that it was like it used to just be one house phone and everybody had to share it?
My husband is like 85. Like, when I was a kid, you had to watch the commercials and we had the cords on the phone. And his big thing is like, we'll get a landline at home, and that's how they can talk to their friends because we don't need to get them a phone. I'm like, they don't want a phone so they can call each other. They want a phone to text each other and TikTok each other, and there's no actual talking.
There's no talking. They're like, ew, it's so weird. He called me. Like
why would we talk?
Yeah, that's not a thing. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So you have to, as a parent, you have to think about that. Like if their friends all have Snapchat, I'm going to have to. What do you do about that?
I try to say no as much as I can. I mean, I'm kind of a pushover sometimes, but I haven't been too much with the electronics. So, I mean, I think we still have a little bit of time. She's just turned 10 and 8. So, but you definitely have to think about when you're going to give them the cell phone, how much. Like, I don't want them in their rooms by themselves on their cell phones. I want to see what they're looking at.
Are they old enough to make the argument, but Mom, you were on TV, so why can't I? Are they old enough to play that card yet? No.
I'm like, you can be, they can say whatever they want to say, but I'm like, I went on TV when I was an adult, and you can choose to be on TV when you're an adult. Okay. Like 21 adult,
is that not 18 adult?
As long as I'm still sort of like, if I'm paying for college or you're going to college,
That seems like a reasonable rule.
I think it's a very reasonable rule.
What is the thing that that they give you the hardest time, most pushback about as kids? What do they give you and
Oh, well,
Joe?
right now, I mean, they don't give me too much. I mean, right now they want a dog.
Of course they do.
They want a puppy. We had a dog. I'm not the hugest dog person, but I had a dog who we loved. His name was Cooper, and we had to put him down like 2 Christmases ago. So I'm like, and all their, during COVID, everyone's getting a puppy, and all of their friends. I mean, like, say we had 10 friends, like 7 of them have puppies now. Yeah. So so they're really pressuring me on that, but they're still little. Like my little 8-year-old gives me a hard time about everything. So, lots of things that they want, and holidays and things, they want every sort of toy possible, and they don't understand. Santa's bringing it, so therefore,
they're still Santa. They know Santa, or 1 and 1. Is it
1 and 1? Yeah, the little one is still like, "Are you sure, Mommy? Do you promise it's not you?" And then the older one knows, and she doesn't understand why we lied to her for so long.
That's a good point.
So basically, I'm a horrible mom because I've been lying to her about Santa for all these years.
Is there a Santa who comes to Hudson, Ohio? Is there a Santa sit on the lap thing that they can't do this year?
Yes. Yeah, typically, yes. They're, it's downtown Hudson. They have a Santa, but not this year.
Not this year.
Not this year. All COVID. I mean, who wants to sit their kid on Santa's lap after 20 other kids?
Well, who did before? These are the kinds that we're going to rethink permanently.
I mean, who did before anyway?
Exactly.
So now this just gives those germaphobes like me an excuse. Oh, we can't do it this year, guys. Sorry.
I know. We think of everything. That's a good point. Yeah, kids would be like, "You lied to me." Like they really could look at it.
She's just like, "Why did you?"
That?
I know I lied, May. I'm sorry.
It's a tradition.
Think about that one for a minute.
Yeah.
It's more magical if you believe, right?
Yeah.
It's
pretend.
Sure.
It's pretend.
It's pretend, and you enjoyed it, and you're probably sad that you don't believe now. So that's how it goes.
All right. Well, this was good, as always.
Well, thank you, Brian. This was great. Remember, everybody, thank you for joining. Remember to subscribe, and tell your friends. And thank you for listening.
And shoot an email. What's the email address again?
Oh, the email is at bachelorburbs@gmail.com. Thanks, everybody. See you soon.